Hey, welcome to class today. Glad everybody could make it. We'll get started right here. We'll keep moving. Hopefully we'll get some stuff done today and you'll enjoy your nice 5-day weekend that's coming up. Currently, this is what you're doing. I hope you're having fun. Currently, this is what I'm doing. I know that I'm having fun. Again, you, and once again, me. Let's get started. Do I look like him? Do I look like the man? Frederick the Great of Prussia. All right. So if you look at the picture over here, we look at pictures all the time. We look at pictures of monarchs all the time. We looked at Catherine the Great yesterday. We've looked at other women in the past and other men in the past. Look at this picture. What is he trying to demonstrate? Answer the question. Answer the question. Somebody answer the question. I am recording all of this through the sound system around the room, so I will know exactly who participates and who doesn't. So, what is he trying to show us? What is the image he wants to portray? Well, I'm hoping you're saying something about military. This is after one of his battles during the War of Austrian Succession, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. But this is one of his battles. He's hunkered down, he's looking like a soldier, recovering from a tough day of battle. That's very interesting because he himself was not much into the military, at least originally. Remember, when his dad, Frederick William I, who's the second Frederick William I, we can review that when I get back, his dad was the soldier's king. His dad was the military guy. This guy here wanted nothing to do with the military. Remember, he ran away. Dad brought him back. Dad had his friends executed. This guy wasn't the military guy. But what's very interesting is he will be the military guy. He will fight wars. His dad, the soldier's king, the military guy, never fought wars. His kid over here does. His kid loves to portray himself as a warrior, as a fighter, as someone who wanted to go to war. All right? So, not afraid to portray that image. Kind of interesting, a little bit different. They all portray power. This guy portrays himself as a warrior, as a fighter. All right. All right, so the second of the 3 enlightened despots that you have to know something about is going to be Frederick the Great over here. Yesterday we did Catherine the Great, so today it's Frederick the Great, okay? The Prussian guy is what I was trying to say. All right, so we've already looked at the picture, we've already gone through the picture. Here's just another typical image of him out there inspecting the troops, parading in front, something his dad would have done. The difference between him and his dad, obviously we just got done talking about, is this guy, the Great, liked to fight, and the soldier's king over here did not. So this is more likely a picture of the soldier's king out patrolling, inspecting, I should say is a better word, while this guy here, his son, the Great, and by the way, the name's given to him, he gladly accepts it. The Great is just something that's associated with the Enlightenment. I don't really know why. Peter the Great was different, but these guys like to be called the Great. All right? When it comes to being an enlightened monarch, that is something that we talked about yesterday. We gave you the big list of things. Here are a big list of things right there on page 3 of your packet that are all considered enlightened. Things that he did that enlightened philosophers, the Voltaires, the Diderot, not Locke, but the Jean Leron d'Alembert. All right, that's a special pronunciation for some people, especially in the second, third hour that love how I speak French. First and second hour, you appreciate it. Second and third hour, they love it when I do that. All right, but if you look through this list, these are a variety of different things, I'll step back out of the way, that are all considered enlightened. Okay? Most of them are pretty simple. All right? This is kind of common sense. This is a good thing. I actually tried to fix the board. I guess I was off. But this is something that all of them are going to do. This is a common thread amongst all the people. Okay? Now this is kind of an interesting one. Why are these people from other countries like Catherine yesterday and Frederick today willing to let books be published? All right, I'll give you a few seconds to think about that. Why do they want, or why are they happy to have these books published? Hope you're all thinking. Hope you're going through that. Okay. Well, one of the reasons I hope somebody thought of, I doubt you're speaking out loud, is a lot of them are French books. If you have a lot of French books, French language books published, that's going to cause chaos in France, hopefully. Now, we have German books, we have Prussian books. We talked about Immanuel Kant. We talked about, I don't know, Paul de Albach is somebody is going to be for our salon, which is the Monday we come back. If you think about those guys, what is something that they like to write in Prussian, in German, that the Prussians, the Germans would like? Okay, think about Immanuel Kant. Think about last week, Friday. Think about race, when we talked about race. These guys, at least some of them, are publishing works on why the Germans are great, why they're ranked 1 through 4, they're on the top up here of the hierarchy of people. No, I'm not saying that's all of it over here. I'm not saying that's all of it, but that's a lot of it. Okay? It's easy to publish books that bring chaos to France. It's easy to let books be published that make you look good. All right? This is a big one. This board is all off. This is a big one, this is a big one, this is a big one. Those are the things that you're going to see. Those are the things you're going to kind of need to remember. Those are the things that are very, very important. All right? They're all going to do varying degrees of those three. All right? But if you continue on with your packet here on the bottom of page 3, not everything he does is enlightened. And he's not going to change the social structure. He's not going to completely undo what his dad had established. All right? He's going to do this, he's going to do this. Or I should say not do that and do that. These two go hand in hand. Nobles more power over serfs. Serfs are stuck listening to the nobility. People in towns are going to be a little bit different, but these two go hand in hand. Because of this, because he never changes the social structure, and he increases this, a big plus for the nobility, you get this. Take a second here. Think about his dad's world. Think about what his dad established. Think about the part in ancient Greece that Prussia becomes compared to. All right? Think about the world that he leaves, and think about the future that leads to. Okay? Got it? What's his dad leaving? Max, what do you think? Okay, I'm going to assume that's right because you're typically right. His dad leaves Sparta of the North. His dad leaves a military dictatorship. His dad leaves a world where people don't ask questions. All right? So what's the future? The future is the world of Adolf Hitler. Now, I'm not saying he has the same views on everything as Hitler, but it's a world where you listen, a world where you do what you're told, a world where you follow orders. That's why Hitler is able to do what he does 300 years later. Here it's, about 200 years later. 300 years or so to his dad and the earlier people. All right? So speaking of Jews, I want you to take a minute here now and read the bottom of page 3, the Moses Mendelssohn over here. Read about Moses Mendelssohn and read about what Frederick the Great does with the Jews. Go ahead and read that, please. So, this is maybe an image you thought of when you think of Jews being oppressed. Obviously, this is the future. Obviously, this is something terrible, but that's not Moses Mendelssohn. That's the good news. Moses Mendelssohn, as you just hopefully read, is going to be part of the Enlightenment. I threw this in there just to show you how broad the Enlightenment was. And I thought Moses Mendelssohn sounds like a pretty interesting guy. You know, they compare him to Martin Luther. They talk about his creativity. He's a huge part of the Enlightenment. So the Jews themselves weren't as oppressed as they will be in the future. They're not treated as equally as everyone else. But Moses Mendelssohn will still be example of the Jews and the impact they had on the Enlightenment and the future and the things that they were able to accomplish. So Moses Mendelssohn. The biggest thing that Frederick the Great is known for is probably the war aspect of it. So this would be the War of Austrian Succession. This is something that we mentioned in the pink packets. We didn't really talk much about it. You do know it's an example of the British and French colonial wars getting involved in all different types of wars. But this is really Prussia, there we go, Prussia against Maria Theresa of Austria. You should remember that what document gave Maria Theresa control, or tried to protect her control, I should say, over this red area as well as the rest of Austria? What was that document that her father negotiated for her in 1713? Sam, this would be second, third hour. Right, you're a smart guy. You got it again. Pragmatic Sanction of 1713. Exactly right. Well done. All right. Well, the problem is Frederick the Great, who didn't like war when he was a kid, likes war when he becomes king, invades Silesia. This is the land that's fought over. This is the land that Prussia wins. This is absolutely huge. This is big. That's where the picture before him sitting there, arm crossed, arm up on a gun, that was part of this battle, part of this war. He fights this war violating the Pragmatic Sanction of 1713, and he gains this. Now, Silesia, very German-sounding, very German, huge part of Germany today. Brandenburg up here is where Berlin would be. But this is huge. This is huge because by winning the land of Silesia, Frederick the Great is able to double the population of his country. He almost doubles the landmass, but he for sure doubles the amount of people. People that can be in his military, people that can serve as workers. Having people is a good thing back here, and that's what he adds to his empire. Maria Theresa's not happy. She does lose a lot of land, she does lose a lot of people, but she's going to continue to be successful after that. So the Battle of Austrian Succession over Silesia gives Frederick the Great this big chunk of red land, which is good for him, bad for Austria. Doesn't destroy Austria, but definitely helps Frederick. And then we also have the 7 Years' War. We talked about that before. It's more of the British and the French fighting than it is the Austrians and the Prussians, but they're still involved. The French and Indian War in America, as you all know, is the exact same thing. So these are just two examples of wars that Frederick the Great fights. This is the big one because he's able to add that to his country's empire and make him stronger. All right. Whoops, sorry about that. Okay, got distracted. My mistake, my fault. All right, to recap Prussia. Frederick the Great, Frederick II, Frederick the Great. He's going to do some very enlightened things, very common, very typical enlightened things. Get rid of torture, reform law codes. Like by reforming law codes, just make them all the same. Okay, instead of having all these different law codes for different parts of Brandenburg and Prussia and all this kind of stuff, they're all unified, they're all one, people know what they are. Might not be great laws, might not be fair laws, but at least you know what they are. In promoting education, always big. Promoting religious toleration, always big. That's easy. Remember how his dad, actually two or three guys ago, the Great Elector, the first Frederick William I, not the second Frederick William I, the Great Elector. Remember, he welcomed in the Huguenots. So Frederick the Great, having religious toleration is a good thing, but, you know, not that unique. They've been Lutheran, they've been Catholic, they've been Calvinist, going way back to the Reformation. But still, it's a good thing, it's a positive. Those are a kind of enlightened things he does. The bad news is he likes to fight wars, he likes to violate the Pragmatic Sanction of 713, and he likes to add land. That isn't his, but today is Germany. All right, person number two, Austria. Austria it is. This should be a ride in Disney. This should be something that I should be doing, but it's not. You know, the snow, the mountains, the snow, much like you have. The cold, much like you have. Not the warmth, not the sun that I'm experiencing. It's only in its mid-70s, people. It's not that warm. It's not that warm. All right. All right, Austria, Maria Theresa up there in the upper right-hand corner. You can see 1740 to 1780, overlapping, obviously, with Frederick the Great. Okay? Now, when it comes to her, the biggest thing that she does that's enlightened is improve the lives of the agricultural population. She's going to work hard to make them more productive, limit the power of the nobility, actually, kind of goes right along with here. Now, here's the problem she faces. As a woman, and not be able to do what a man can do, technically, not obviously, we know that she can, but the men aren't going to treat her the same. We know that. We saw that with the last war. She will not be as enlightened as you think. But she is very effective. She is very good. She is very good for Austria. Okay? She is going to make a country that is very well run, that is very organized, and it's going to make them more powerful. She's going to start to get the power of the Pope. I don't know how this got messed up again. Get the power of the Pope out of Austria. Not totally, but a little bit. She's going to make her and her future heirs to the throne much more powerful. So maybe you don't call her quite as enlightened, but you do call her very effective. Take a minute real quick and read the bottom of page 4. It's only a few sentences, so I'll just hang out back here and wait for you. All right, bottom of page 4, right there, a couple sentences. I hope you're reading. I'm literally just standing here waiting for you to read. If I was in the room, I'd be standing there waiting for you to read. So just go ahead and read. Now what's funny is I ask you if you're done, and it's going to sound exactly the same if I'm here or if I'm there. Because I say, are you done? I stare at you. Most people don't even answer. Maybe somebody eventually will because I've stared at you waiting for someone to answer. So let's just assume you're done. All right? A couple of things that are important to notice. Okay? To talk about the wars, we've already had that. We've already had the wars. But look at the things she does in the first sentence. What does she do that I said with Frederick the Great that is very common to the era in terms of enlightenment? So I think it's the 7th word in. Educational. Educational reforms. You can't see that. I'm pointing to it anyways, whatever. First line, highlight or underline or do something with those words, financial and educational reforms. And then the rest of the paragraph's kind of interesting, talks a lot about how successful she was. All right? So, even though she might not be 100% enlightened, the educational reforms were, her kids, and you can't see the second one here, I'll move the camera up in a minute, are going to be able to be more enlightened because of this. Because she's able to create a stronger country in the face of all these wars, you get a pretty successful country in the future. So you got Joseph over there. All right. Now what's interesting about this one, he's considered very enlightened. He's the #1 example of enlightened monarchies. Okay. Old multiple choice question had a list of people. He was the correct answer, and the question was about enlightened. Who's considered enlightened? Now this picture is awesome for that. Okay? This picture is a perfect example of enlightened rulers versus all the ones we've had in the past. So look at it here for a second. What do you notice that's different? That fits in this idea of being enlightened versus being powerful? What's missing? Look at the invitingness. You know, feet are crossed, kind of looking off to the side, hand on the hip. Okay? doesn't have the sword, doesn't have the scepter. Still looks strong, still looks powerful, but he's not trying to impress you with his power. Classic enlightened pose. I put up a picture like this with a picture of Frederick William in his military stance and a picture of the normal monarch in their power poses, even without this guy. Look at no little spandex. He's got the high stockings, but not the tights. Those guys all try to look more powerful. He's not. He probably does. Okay? So he's Joseph II. The interesting thing about him is this right here. He will actually end serfdom. Phenomenally enlightened. Incredible idea. Problem is, it's going to fail. It's going to fail because no one's happy. He ends serfdom and says, okay, everybody, pay off your debts with money. We're getting to a monetary system. Forget the barter system. Pay off your debts with money. But they don't. They can't. They can't. They can't pay off their debts with barter anymore because they switched to a monetary system. They don't have the money. This is an awesome move that fails. And 2 years later, his brother Leopold there has to undo it. His brother Leopold has to go back and reinstitute some form of serfdom because abolishing it didn't work. Tells you what about Austria? Pretty far behind. Pretty far behind when you get rid of serfdom and you actually need it to make your country better. All right, so the next slide here should be a picture of him out there farming, which is right there in your packet. Oh, there we go. I just repeated the whole thing. Okay, so let's look at this for a second. This isn't the exact same picture that's in your packet, but it's very similar. Once again, what is he trying to show? All right, what is he trying to show? Take 15 seconds and talk to the person to your left. And if you don't do it, he's not here, he's not going to make us do it. I will know. I will know if you do it. Take 15 seconds and tell the person to your left, what does this show us about Joseph II? If you're by the window, obviously you can talk to the person next to you. What am I doing? What am I doing? I'm farming. I'm Joseph II. What does this show? Me farming. I don't know if I'm lined up or not. It's a green screen, can't really tell, but I'm farming. I'm a man of the people. That's the answer. I'm a man of the people. I work with the people. I trust the people. I like the people. That's why I'm enlightened. That's why Joseph II's enlightened. All right? Now what I need you to do is take about 3 minutes, 3 or 4 minutes, and I need you to look at page 6. Read through page 6, all the examples of the things that are enlightened that he does. All right? Read through page 6. I'm just going to hang out here for a second. I'll be right back. Reading through just a couple of minutes. I'm literally going to sit here with the video camera on for about 2.5, 3 minutes while you read through this list on page 6 of your packet. Despotic ways. So it's not all enlightened. Not all. But still stuff I want you to know about Joseph and his brother. Another minute. Still sitting here. Should be finishing up pretty soon. All right, that was 2 minutes instead of 3 minutes because sitting here in the dark, pretending you're talking to people, and just sitting in a chair by yourself for 3 minutes is a long time filming a video, so 2 is enough, all right? But hopefully you saw some similarities. Some of the things, especially down here, that were very much like Frederick the Great. Okay? Some of these things down here, we didn't talk about mercantilism, but some of these other things down here are similar to what Frederick the Great would have done. Some of, similar to what Catherine did. Talked about her on Monday. So hopefully you can start to piece together a comparison essay, similarities, differences, all that kind of stuff. All right, one more to go. Okay, so page 7 of your packet. On the very top, there's some italicized writing. Remember, those are the words from the AP people, the AP book. So this is how they're breaking down Poland from that book. The inability of the Polish monarchy to consolidate its authority over the nobility led to Poland's partition by Prussia, Russia, and Austria, and its disappearance from the map of Europe. So we've already talked about the partition of Poland. I guess I should have asked a different question and say, what is this a map of? All right, well, I already gave it away. It's the partition of Poland. Remember, Austria and Prussia work with Russia to take away Poland. Happens in the 1790s. We will talk about this again in a week or two, maybe not that long, when we talk about the French Revolution and how this partition of Poland actually saves France from defeat. So who do you have over here on the right? Okay, who do you have over there on the right? You should all know her. Catherine the Great. Here's your Prussians and your Austrians. I don't know which one's which, totally honest with you. One of them is going to be Frederick, after Frederick the Great. One of them is going to be after Leopold II. Those are the names we'll talk about when we talk about the French Revolution. And then obviously who's over here? Far left, all tied up. The symbolism is they have no say in what's happening. Poland is partitioned. Poland disappears from the map. Poland will not be back on the map of Europe until post-World War I. So if this is 1796-ish, late 1790s, from 1800 to 1918, there is no Poland. Poland will not be on the map. All right, so where have we seen this before? What's happening? Page 7 of your packets, we just talked about that. All right, then the last thing I want you to accomplish while I'm gone is on page 7 right there. I want you to quickly just read. This won't take you more than 3 or 4 minutes, and I won't sit there and, well, actually, I'm going to go set the camera up for something else. So you go read, please, the bottom of page 7. I'm going to give you about 3 minutes to do it. It's kind of an interesting little thing. I'll move to the other room and get set up for the last scene, the last exciting scene from this video. All right, page 7, France. It says the not so absolute France, remember it was, and also not enlightened for sure. So read page 7 on the top of page 8. I'll be with you in a couple minutes. So here's where I'm filming. South Campus, John F. Kennedy. Ignore me talking. if you combine the reading with the last few pictures here, you get a pretty good idea of what's happening in France. Desacralization is the word. So that's going to be a big reason why we get the French Revolution, which is the last topic that we have. So, almost done here. All right, so we should have this whole packet finished up. Monday, Tuesday, hopefully you'll watch this, hopefully you got something out of it. Obviously, you can ask me questions. Obviously, I will make sure that you know what's in here. So Monday, today's Tuesday when you're watching this. 5 days from now, on the 28th, when you come back, we have our salon. Do not forget your salon. One piece of paper, you can read it, have it ready to go. If you don't have anything, what am I supposed to do? All right, you can't participate. You got to sit in the corner or sit in the hallway and do it. It's real simple. Get it done. Get it over with. You get to walk around. You get to mingle. I give you points for talking. Okay, have something to talk about. So get it done. Be ready to go. We'll take a few minutes Monday to make sure you have all this because I don't want to make you talk for 60 minutes. You know, we get 40, 45 minutes review out of the salon. We're in good shape. Okay, so then salon Monday, 5 days, come back, don't forget, Tuesday review, wrap it all up, ask questions, see if you need me to tell you anything. This actually might kind of disappear in the green screen, it's kind of cool. If you can't tell because it disappeared, I'm holding up our packet. I think it's kind of fun, screen's kind of fun. And then Wednesday of next week, a week from tomorrow, is our test. So, what do you need to do over the next 5 days? Well, you should study a little bit. Your salon is hopefully done. If not, you got to do that. You got 5 days. You got 5 days. You can get something done. The test will be green packets and pink packets. Do some studying. Be ready to go. The quarter's almost half over already. So, hammer it out. Do some studying. Get ready to go. Get together in groups, do some studying, let's make sure everything's done. All right, I hope you learned something. I had fun. If there's still more than 30 minutes left in class, you got to wait for the bell to ring, the first hour bell to ring. 2, 3, second, third hour, you guys can just take off. Hopefully it's closer to the end of the hour. If the sub doesn't mind, I want to give them a hard time. Be nice, be respectful to her. But if you're into second hour, you can go. If 2, 3, if you're into third hour, you can go. Just stay out of trouble. All right, one more scene for you. Don't go anywhere for about 10 seconds. Have a good weekend. This is what I'm doing on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, coming home Saturday night. All right, talk to you later.